Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to my kitchen. My name is Anna from Anitas. In case you're new here and haven't been to the channel yet, today I am going to show you how to make fluffy, soft, ooey gooey, delicious cinnamon rolls. They are perfect for this time of year whenever the weather starts to cool down a bit. I love to have cinnamon rolls on hand for breakfast. So special during the holiday season to have a nice little warm cinnamon roll with a cup of something warm is so divine and delicious. And I'm not trying to be biased, but I think my homemade cinnamon rolls are the best thing ever. And if you try the recipe, you will know why. So let's go ahead and get started. Today I'm going to make mine with my stand mixer, but you can obviously do this by hand in a bowl with a wooden spoon. It's just gonna come together. I mean, it's gonna come together at the same time, but it's gonna be a little more of a labor intensive process, but you can do it either way. So I am going to start with my whole milk. This is warm milk, warm to 110 degrees Fahrenheit. You want to have it to 110. You don't want it too hot or too cold, otherwise your yeast is not going to foam properly. So, you know, too cold is not gonna activate the yeast. Too warm or too hot, it's going to actually kill the yeast. So you want to make sure that you have it at exactly 110 degrees. I don't know what I was doing to the yeast yet, because we need to add a little bit of sugar. So to my bowl, let me just remove this here. It's gonna make the process a lot. There we go. It's gonna make this whole thing a lot easier. So I am going to add about a tablespoon of my granulated sugar. And we are going to sprinkle the yeast all over the top. Now, all we're gonna do is wait for our yeast to foam. You want it really nice and foamy. I'm gonna show you exactly what it should look like once it gets there. And in the meantime, I am going to mix all-purpose flour with a bit of salt. I'm just going to give it a quick mix, just like so. And excuse my stuffy voice. I am under the weather and I didn't want that to stop me from making this recipe, because I know cinnamon rolls this time of year is absolutely delicious. So I'm going to wait for this to foam about, I would say 3 to 4 minutes, and I'll be back here for the next step. It's been about 4 minutes, and as you can see, our yeast is looking nice and foamy. So now it's time to add in our cooled melted butter, 1 egg, the rest of your sugar. I'm going to attach my dough hook back on, and we are going to mix this on low just until everything comes together. Okay, so after you have something that looks like this, as you can see, everything is nicely mixed. You're going to start adding your flour, and we're gonna add half the flour first. We're going to mix this on low for about 1 or 2 minutes, or until the flour is incorporated, and then we're gonna add the other half. I added my second batch of flour, and this is what you want to look for at the moment. So you can see all the flour has been incorporated. Now I'm going to bring the speed to medium, and we're going to knead the dough for about 5 to 6 minutes until you have a nice soft dough. It's been 6 minutes, and you want a dough that looks like this. So you can see it's nice and soft, slightly sticky, and that's what you want. I'm going to add just a little bit of flour onto a clean surface. I'm gonna use a bench scraper to just take out all this beautiful, let me see, there we go. All of this beautiful soft dough out of my bowl. Oh, this dough, it's gorgeous. It's nice and sticky, slightly soft. I'm going to add just another little sprinkle of flour. So you can see I'm not adding too much flour, and you want something that looks like this. So I'm going to knead it with my hands just very slightly to kind of like bring it together. Look how beautiful and soft this dough looks. I have a large bowl oiled with a little bit of avocado oil. You can use any type of neutral oil, and I am going to go ahead and place my dough right in the middle. I am going to oil the top very slightly with whatever residue I have on the brush, just like so. And we are going to cover it with some plastic wrap. Now I'm going to put my dough in a warm place, such as the oven or the microwave, for about hour and a half. You want your dough to double in size. So once my dough has doubled, I will be back to show you the next step. My dough has been resting for about an hour, so now it's time to make our cinnamon roll filling. And for that, you're going to need some unsalted butter that has been slightly melted. So what I did was I had room temperature butter, like softened butter, that I popped in the microwave for about 10 seconds, and it got slightly melted, but I don't want it melted all the way. I also have some granulated sugar and some brown sugar with lots and lots of cinnamon. So this comes together very, very quickly. You just simply add all your sugar into your bowl with the slightly melted butter and your cinnamon. And now we just simply combine until it comes together. After mixing for about a minute, you are going to end up with a spreadable cinnamon butter that looks like this. My dough has doubled in size. This is exactly what we are looking for. And I already have a little bit of flour sprinkled all over my clean surface, because now we have to transfer this beautiful dough onto our surface. I'm going to sprinkle some of this flour all over my rolling pin, and we are looking for a beautiful rectangle shape. Kind of like to shape it with my hands first, so I get a nice form, and here we go. This is good enough. You want a nice thin layer, and now we just simply want to spread all of this beautiful butter all over. Okay, so you want to have something that looks like this, and now we just simply start rolling our dough very, very lightly. You want to tug in as you roll. So you can see I'm kind of like tucking in as I'm rolling, and that is exactly what you want to do. So once you get to the edge, you want to fan this out just slightly. You want to kind of just tuck that in, just like so. And you're gonna end up with a huge lug that looks like this. Here I have some floss, and make sure you use the unminted kind. The one that's not minted is just like unflavored kind. And you are going to go ahead and cut your cinnamon rolls just like so. I personally don't like the edges or the ends because I feel that they barely have any cinnamon in them, but you can of course leave that on if you want, but I just like to remove them just like this. It just makes the process much easier. So I want to start all the way at the middle, so I'm gonna wiggle this all the way down. So I'm gonna go right in here and make a cut. I'm gonna cut right at the middle of this one, just like so. And I'm going to cut each one of these into 3. So 1, 2, and 3. And I'm telling you, makes it the easiest way to cut your cinnamon rolls. So I am going to place them in a 9 by 13 baking dish. These are my last 3, and then I personally like to put my finger right underneath the cinnamon roll and kind of push up a little bit, and that's gonna give you that beautiful kind of like bakery style cinnamon roll. So you're not gonna be as flat. The center is going to come out slightly, so just push ever so slightly until they kind of come up. Our cinnamon rolls are ready for our second rice. And now this is the point where you could pop it in the fridge overnight, and then you can take them out the morning of, let them rise for about hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, until they have doubled in size, and you can bake them regular, how you would normally bake your cinnamon rolls. But now, since we're not making overnight cinnamon rolls, I am going to let this rise for about an hour, again, until they are doubled. My cinnamon rolls have been rising for, it's been about an hour and 15 minutes. So after the hour, I started preheating my oven, and it's preheated at 375. All that's left to do is, first I want you to see how they have doubled in size. They look beautiful. So here I have some heavy whipping cream, and I am going to pour the heavy whipping cream all over the pan, the bottom of the pan. You don't technically want to touch the cinnamon rolls. You just want to pour this all over the bottom, and this is going to create kind of like a very luscious, delicious sauce, and it's going to make your cinnamon rolls even more gooey and delicious than they already are. Now this is going to go into my preheated oven at 375 for about 25 to 28 minutes. If they start to get too golden brown on top and they're obviously not cooked through, just lightly cover them with a little bit of foil, and they will be good to go. Now it's time to make our delicious cream cheese glaze. We're gonna spread all over them. So for that, you're going to need a medium-sized bowl, and you're going to need some unsalted butter and some cream cheese at room temperature. And then I am going to add just the smallest amount of milk, and this is going to make it easier for me to mix our cream cheese and butter. And you just want to whisk until everything comes together. Once your cream cheese looks something like this, as you can see, it's nice and velvety and soft. There are no lumps, and it's very, very, very important for your cream cheese to be at room temperature and slightly softened. Otherwise, you're gonna have lumps in your frosting, and it's not gonna be delicious. So I am going to add a splash of vanilla extract. I'm going to add my powdered sugar, and I'm also going to add a little bit more of my milk, and I'm gonna add milk as needed. After a few seconds of mixing, you're going to end up with a beautiful cream cheese spread that looks like this. My cinnamon rolls are finally done. They were in the oven for 25 minutes, and they look so scrumptious. I'm telling you, these are the best cinnamon rolls. I vouch for them because they are so yummy. So you can see I already spread my beautiful glaze all over the top. And there's also one missing because I had to take some pictures and we just couldn't resist trying one. And as you can see, look how it's just so delicious, so fluffy, so caramelly. I'm not kidding when I say these are the best. And I want you to see, look how fluffy, soft, and wonderful these are. One of these with a cup of something warm will make anyone's morning so much better. I hope you guys enjoy the recipe. Read the recipe on my website. If you like the video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.